Hello everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. My name is Alex. I'm here with Lewis. Lewis, look, we didn't lose, mates. 2-2 against Nottingham Forest. Is it better than you thought it would be, or are you underwhelmed? And you thought we maybe should have got 3 points today.
I feel like any other season than this one, and I would have been a bit underwhelmed. But we've been so crap. This is like one of the better results. We got another 2 goals. That's 6 for the month. I mean, there's a positive. Sterling scored twice. Chalobah looked good. Enzo looked all right.
Chalobah looked good. He was really driving on that right-hand side. Do you think that's a role that might suit him more in the future, or just a makeshift at the moment?
I would say in the future, but we've got Malo Gusto coming in anyway, so it's like, you're only just there as a stopgap. But he's been great depth for us, right back, centre back. He's had a couple good right back performances back in January when we needed emergency for that position as well. So yeah, one of the better performances. It's just a bit dead. Like, season's done now. We've hit that 40-point barrier and everything. There really isn't anything to care about. Yeah, there was some questionable decisions, like Mendy for Kepa, but again, season's done. You can experiment with whatever you want. Mendy didn't look any better, though. Like, the whole Mendy-Kepa debate is so tired, and I will say, like, Kepa is better than Mendy right now. It doesn't mean either of them are good enough for us. We need a better goalkeeper than the pair of them next season. Maybe you could keep Kepa as a number 2 if we can't find anyone to take him, because we had that same situation the last 2 or 3 years. But we need a number 1 goalkeeper. Mendy ain't all that. 2 shots on target, 2 goals. The first one, terrible communication. The second one, straight at him. For someone who's been out of the squad for about the last 4-5 months or something, I would have expected something a little bit more. I know you could talk about sharpness and everything, but Kepa came into the lineup and he was fine the first few games. Even saved us, like if you look back to the Aston Villa away game, if you look back to the Brentford away game, for example, there's been games where Kepa saved us. Mendy, you can't look at any single game this season and say he's been a benefit for us. Has to be one of the first out the door. Forest came in, they had more to fight for. Not surprised that they left with something. I'm kind of more surprised that they didn't leave with the 3 points, but big up to Sterling for turning up with 2 goals. First time in ages. He looked a lot better in the second half. I think we all looked a little bit better in the second half. That Ruben Loftus-Cheek for Kovacic switch did a lot for us. Mate. It's good to just have someone who actually gives a shit, because Kova's been on the beach for the past 4-5 months. We know there's been no contract talks of him. He's likely going to leave. That might be the last time we've seen him in a Chelsea shirt. Is what it is. We looked even better without him on the pitch. Thanks for the memories, all of that. Doesn't mean anything, but yeah, it's just our last point of the season, because City, United, Newcastle, we already know we're not getting anything in any of those 3 games. And that's fine. Like, they've got more to fight for than us. They've got better teams than us. What am I going to expect going into any of those games? What are any of us going to expect? Fuck all. It is what it is. At least we took something from this game. As little and as pointless as that means. Like, what was the point of even getting angry? Oh, we dropped more points and everything. So what? How many games have we dropped points? How many games we played terrible? We've had way worse performances than that this season. It was good to see a little bit of fight. Good to see us actually keep going until the full 90, even though we're fucking awful up front and all of that. At least we kept going. That's like one positive in, I don't know, a dead game than a dead 2-2 draw.
Does Lampard deserve a bit of credit? Obviously, he made the changes. He brought Loftus-Cheek on.
Yeah, but there was still questionable stuff. Like, you were going to live or die by the Mendy or Kepa decision based on what happened in the game, and that cost us 2 goals. So people are going to look at Lampard, they're going to say, why did you make that change? Because Kepa didn't even have a bad game against Bournemouth. I thought he was one of our better players.
He actually saved us in that game. They had some great chances.
Saves in the second half. If he did that after a bad game, I would have understood it a bit more. If he did, let's say Kepa cost us the Bournemouth game, and then Mendy comes in and he has those 2 mistakes. I'm not going to be at Lampard's neck and be like, why did you make that decision? I understand it. It's just a bit confusing now, but even then it's like, you can experiment, do what you want, it's not that deep. Ziyech coming on, didn't really understand that. The substitutions were late in general. It was again after the 70th minute. Mudryk left on the bench again. I thought it would have made more sense to at least bring him off the bench, but we didn't even do that. Datro Fofana, I mean, it's nice to even see him on the bench, but it would have been nice to see him have some game time.
I've been reading about Fofana. Apparently he's having a shocker in the under-21s. That's why he's not getting minutes at the moment. I mean, if that is the case, then in a way we can actually understand why he hasn't been getting minutes in the first team. Because if you can't perform at that level, why should you be trusted, on the biggest stage in the first team?
I hear that, but like, none of our attackers are performing at the highest level anyway, and Fofana's game time, like however limited it's been for us, his only start for us, he looked good. I still don't even know why Potter took him off at half-time against Southampton. I thought he was our best forward. He's just not been given an opportunity. Like, we're willing to give Lewis Hall a chance, and fair play to him. I thought he was decent for the most part. We should be giving Fofana a run out, because were we going to throw him to the Wolves against City, or against United, against Newcastle? Now would have been the better opportunity to do that. So, yeah, I won't directly look at Lampard and say you cost us the game, but there are going to be some questionable decisions from him. Same way you can look at some of the players as well. Same shit, different team. It's just, yeah, we got a point. I guess we can take that at least.
Yeah. What about just going back to Ruben Loftus-Cheek? I'm hearing rumours that the owners want to get rid of him. Obviously, he's got quite a large wage. I think he's on 150 grand a week. Can you justify getting rid of him? Because you did just say earlier on he's one of the few players who actually cares. I mean, is it a case of maybe trying to pin him down on a longer deal for less money, or just cut your losses and get rid of him straight away?
See, my ideal thing for him would be to like just kind of take a pay cut, even though I know it's like not really in a place to ask for that and everything, but 150k a week for someone who's realistically going to be a depth option for us, who also loves Chelsea and has never wanted to leave the club, and I don't think is going to force a move in the summer anyway. If he was to accept that, go for it. I think he's good depth for us. He fills out a bunch of positions if we ever need it in an emergency. Doesn't make any complaints about his game time. Loves the club, wants to be here. Sometimes you need players like that in the squad. My whole problem with Ruben has only really been the wage. You can't justify keeping him on those sorts of wages when he's never really going to be starting for us in a squad that we're looking to compete for trophies, to compete for league titles and all of the sorts. So
he's always in and around the squad though. That's as you said,
yeah,
with the depth. So he is a good option to have.
And again, like, you need veterans like that as well. Like, we're hearing Silva might be leaving. Kante, the contract issue isn't sorted yet. Aspie's likely going to go. Kovacic is going to go. We've already lost Jorginho. We've already lost Rudiger. We're losing a lot of veterans, losing a lot of leadership. You need someone like Ruben in that dressing room. So, like, I know we're going to end up getting rid of English players, and especially Cobham graduates, because they're, like, more straight profit in terms of FFP and everything. But I feel like Ruben's probably the least likely to go out of the lot. I could see Gallagher go. Mount's very likely to leave. Gallagher, we've already said Gallagher. Chalobah looks like he might be going as well. I think there's other options instead of him.
Especially if we get Louis Colwell, and I could probably justify Chalobah, because at least you're getting another centre back. But then if
centre backs we're fine with, to be fair.
I mean, but then if you look at Silva as well, that's another player we're going to lose. Not to mention the presence he has in the dressing room. Obviously, it was a great display by the bridge and the shed end and Matthew Arden.
We can't afford to let him go. It's just straight up, we can't. And I've seen this like narrative that we kind of have to let him go because of the age and everything. Why do we have to when he's our best centre back? Why do we have to when, again, what we're speaking about, leadership and veterans, we are lacking that in the dressing room, and there's already one here?
Well, I think when you earn such respect as a player, if you do want to go, nobody can stop you, especially if it's back to Brazil. He's going to take a pay cut.
I don't think he'd force his way out. Because, like, Thiago Silva, to me, strikes me as someone who's, like, more of a man of their word. Like, when he moved to us from PSG wanted to keep him after the UCL final, but he said he already gave his word to Chelsea and he was going to go to us as a result of that. He signed an extension a year ago. If we say to him, like, we want him to honour that 1 year, I think he'd do that without a fuss. If they let him go, I'm not going to be angry about it, because, again, like, I've got a lot of respect for him and everything he's done for Chelsea in the 3 years, his career in general. If he wants to go retire in Brazil, have a chance of winning 3 trophies with his boyhood club and retire off into the sunset, fair enough. But if I'm going to speak from a selfish, idealistic Chelsea standpoint, we cannot let him go. We can't. He's still our best centre-back. He's still probably one of the only players pinging passes into the box in the second half.
Unbelievable distribution.
Yeah. Like, we miss every time we don't play him, we usually miss his leadership or we miss his reading of the game. And we're 11th. When we did that with John Terry and we phased him out, right, we were in a team that was winning the league. So you can afford to do that, even though you're going to miss out on the leadership in spite of that. We're 11th. We are in the midst of a massive rebuild and everything needs change. Silva's one of the only constants in spite of that. Can we afford to let him go even if you want to be respectful? I don't think so. Regardless of whatever happens, always going to have love for Thiago Silva and all of that. We can't let him go though. We simply can't right now.